Welcome to the upper deck. We are going to the World Series. Woo! I even have my lucky damn it doll here cheering. I am exhausted. Raise your hand if you got any sleep last night. I can't raise my hand because I didn't get any sleep last night. How you doing, Ciarra?
I'm exhausted. The Yankees won, and I ran straight to a Twitter space because I had to celebrate with my fellow fans. Um, it was such an incredible feeling. And I know other fan bases think we're spoiled, right? It's only been 15 years, but 15 years is a long time. I don't care what anyone says, it's a long time. And it was, I said this from the beginning, it wasn't a cakewalk. It is always a battle to play Cleveland. Like, I know the record shows that we're the better team, but every time we play them, it is a dogfight. And those pesky Naylor brothers made me feel like we were not going to get out of there alive. So when Soto got that final out, I was like instant tears. I'm such an emotional person, so it just like started flowing right away.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know, man. I could ramble forever. I'm so freaking excited.
I was crying, and when I cry, I get the hiccups, and I had no voice. It's still the remnants. I was scream crying. My cat was like, "What's going on?" Running up and down the hall. He thought the house was on fire. But what a moment! 15 years we've waited for this, and that is like a long time for a Yankee fan to wait. We've been so spoiled, regardless of our generation. We've been so spoiled, except those of us that remember the dark, dirty 70s and 80s where there were long gaps. But listen, we're going, and this team is built for it all. This is, I think, the next millennium version of the dream team, and I'm just so excited to see what happens next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was like 30 seconds where I felt a little bad for Cleveland because, it's been since 1948 since they've won a World Series. And the last time that they went, they obviously lost. So it felt a little bad for them. And then when the Yankees were posing for their picture, like as ALC champs, it says in the background, "Thank you to the fans." But it's like for Cleveland's fans,
I know.
that was
You
nasty work. But then I was like, I don't feel that bad anymore because I hate them and we're going to the World Series. So screw them.
So I have zero bad feelings for Cleveland. I particularly enjoyed the rocking of the baby in the locker room during the celebration with the trophy. I thought that was perfect shade throwing. And so look, it's not like Boston thrill that and haha. But you know what? Um and props to the Guardians because they did have a hell of a season. And it's not like this was a cakewalk. It never is with them. But you know what? I agree. Like the Nailers need to be quiet, and they did their best, and it sucks to lose at home. I understand that. But you know what? A better luck someday. Not, not
Not
with
today.
not today, and not against us. So hey, look, Ciarra, our whole family is here. Jonathan, the earliest of birds this morning, tweet to you. John the Beagle Dad, also an early one, and he says, so what happened to Judge MVP? So John, the good news is that um Stanton, and very rightly so, got the MVP for the series, for the championship series. The American League MVP will undoubtedly be Aaron Judge. So that's to come. But that's a secure thing. I see. Hey, guy with numbers. Good to see you. Hey, Maza. Great to see you. Lori, Jordan, Gregory Rain. Lou, Karen, my sister, FJ. Look, everyone's in the house because they knew there was going to be a party. Brad, great to see you. Hey, Shayna, good morning to you. Dev, great to see you. Jordan, Brad, I said Brad already. I'm so excited. I'm going to say everyone's name twice. Just bear with me. Raziel is here. And more to come, but full house here, full rocking house here. So, where do you want to go first? I'm like already jumping ahead to Friday night, but a lot's going to happen in between, and we really should talk about why we're going to the World Series.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just curious who we're playing. Are we playing the Dodgers or are we playing the Mets? Because they're going into game 6 tonight. Yeah, I think it's tonight. I don't think it's during the day. I think it's
Night.
tonight. They're
Yeah.
going into game 6 right now. It is 3-2, right? Dodgers have 3, Mets have 2. The Mets should have died already at this point, but they live on another day. There have been 50-11 hits between the two teams in the past 5 games, so I don't know who we're playing. But honestly, I want to play the Mets. I don't want to play the Dodgers because I just think it'd be more fun for the city of New York, just for baseball in general. Because I'm so sick of hearing about Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and Ohtani. No hate to Freddie Freeman. I actually like him, but I can't stand Mookie Betts. And I also am just sick of hearing about Ohtani. Either way, I think either team is going to be super hard to beat. What are your thoughts on that?
So I've been saying it all along that I want that Subway Series. As a New Yorker, I absolutely want that Subway Series. Um, and that they both have things to worry about with
Mhm.
for us, right? The Mets have had a bit of trouble with their big names, but they're still holding their own with the Dodgers, for sure, and it's anybody's to get. So, the reason the only reason I would want the Dodgers instead, because I do think at the end of the day, the Dodgers may have a better chance against us than the Mets. The only chance, other thing that I really don't would want to see the Dodgers though is let's remind people about Aaron Judge, because MLB and all of the broadcasters on all of the networks except ours are basically, obsessed with Otani as the second coming, and they need to be reminded. So I want those commercials and those teases at the start of the game with the two of them and the head to head and the two greats facing each other. Let people, be reminded of who really is the MVP there. The glory of Otani is the mystique of Otani, let me say, is over.
Mhm.
He was really an aberration when he came because wow, pitching, he was a two-sided player. Not anymore. And Ciarra, I know that you've also educated me about that. Um,
Yeah, I mean, when he came over when he was first with the Angels, he was a unicorn, right? Like you're pitching one day, you're a DH the next day. How are you doing this? Like, how are you hitting these home runs and striking dudes out at the same time? That's insane. But with that elbow injury, he's not pitching. Right now, he's just a glorified DH. And I find it so funny because MLB, Bob Costas especially, they are so hard on Giancarlo Stanton for being a glorified DH. And they talk about how he can't run anymore and he can't throw anymore and he can't do all these things. But you know what Giancarlo Stanton just did? He carried us through the ALDS. He carried us through the ALCS. And he just surpassed Babe Ruth for Yankees all-time postseason home runs. So he is 4th now. He's behind Bernie, Jeter, and Mickey Mantle. He surpassed Judge at 14, Babe Ruth at 15, and he has 16. So I don't know why we talk about Otani like he's this amazing thing, but Stanton gets all this hate. Um, he's going into the World Series with a 300 batting average, 4 home runs, 9 hits, and 9 RBI. That's the DH that I want.
I have 3 words: Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, 100%. He just sealed it with that trophy he got. And so deserved. And I really want to personally meet every fan, every Yankee fan I've seen on Twitter,
Mhm.
saying that he's cooked, he's done, he's old, and just just don't show up in Cooperstown for the ceremony. I'll be on the lookout for you.
Yeah,
Um,
I hope every single person who wanted him out of this lineup this season steps on Legos today. You don't you don't get to celebrate Big Daddy's ALCS MVP because you didn't want him in this lineup, okay? He literally put us on his back in the DS and then showed up in the ALCS because let's face it, Aaron Judge is a great captain. Aaron Judge got us to the postseason. We owe him a lot. And it's not like he's never been good in the postseason because, like I just said, he has 14 postseason home runs, and I think we forget about that. However, his 161 batting average is not going to cut it in the World Series.
nope.
He had so many opportunities to be clutch in the ALCS. How many times did Glaber and Soto set him up just to be let down?
Yep.
He's got to figure it out. I love my captain, but he's got to get it together.
Yeah, we need him on both sides. We need him doing what he's doing out in the field, but man, it's been really hard to watch. Oh, Lori, you've converted. Thank you. We got a convert here. No more big daddy slander. Thank you very much. And Raziel saying Monument Park for Big G. Yep, I want those plaques. Might need to build a bigger stadium because there's going to be Judge and Stanton, heading there at the end of their careers. There's 100% certainty around that. And you know what? We needed the dome anyway. So, they're just going to have to build a bigger house. I think we need a bigger boat.
We're going to need a bigger boat.
Bigger boat. And hey, Michael, didn't see you come in. And he's saying it'd be easier to deal with losing the Dodgers than, well, yeah, they would. Yeah, I mean, I'm saying what I'm saying, but yeah, I don't want to be around anyone at work in the neighborhood or anything. There's a lot of Mets fans around me every day, and some in my family and some of my best friends. No, that's the risk you take. But it sure would be exciting, and it would be good for the city. But I get it. I get it 100%. And let's see. So FJ saying,
Yes, they did. Like, oh my god, I have it saved to my phone, and I use it just to be sarcastic to people now because it's so freaking funny. Like,
uh,
especially since before the Mets series, he wasn't doing anything. He's woken up a little bit now, but like, homeboy didn't look that good in the NLDS. He looks good now, but he didn't look good in the DS.
so like what he's dare I say another version of Big Christmas, but
Oh my
literally
god,
Christmas.
I
Um,
literally Cleveland almost made me hate Christmas, and that's like my favorite holiday.
but like the number of batters away before Otani gets up is like how many days till Christmas? It is so ridiculous. So yeah, and so even Michael saying that I'm sorry guys, I have a new mouse that I just had to install before the show. Going off topic for a minute, and it's like I feel like I'm learning how to drive clutch after having automatic. I have all these buttons I don't know what to do with, but I'm trying to get everyone's comments up. So yeah, Michael said he's won us all over. Yeah, until that one game where he doesn't produce anything,
Whoa,
then
whoa, whoa.
what?
Let's not put that on him right
Oh,
now.
no, no. What did I just do? Did I mention I didn't have any sleep? No. Um, rewind. Um, so, and Mazza wants to put something out there. Let me see what Mazza has to say. Um, it's a love note for you, Ciarra.
I
Um,
know, I love it.
yeah, he Glaber gets, as Ciarra, you'd say, flowers for this whole series.
Mhm.
He, and we'll get into this in hot takes, but go ahead.
Did you guys see his live on Instagram last night? That's where I watched my post game was through Glaber Torres and Jazz Chisholm on Instagram. My boy was having the time of his life. He just looked so happy. He loves being in pinstripes. And you know what, guys? I can't wait until he gets re-signed in the offseason because he's coming back. Like
Oh,
with
yeah.
that the second half that he's had, forget the postseason. Second half going into the postseason, Glaber is locked in and he is a huge part of the success in the postseason. He doesn't hit the home runs, but he's getting on base and he's setting up those bigger guys who, if they don't come through, that's not on him. but Glaber is doing his job, and I can't wait until he is our 2025 second baseman.
Yeah, and Lori's saying he's getting paid next year, maybe not by us. It'll be by us. There's no way that Cashman and Hal aren't re-signing Glaber.
Mhm.
I really don't see that happening, even though they're going to have to add some extra zeros for Soto at this point. And there are already a hell of a lot of zeros.
Mhm.
Yeah, so, but no, I think that Glaber will get his wish, little cigar smoking Glaber. Um, who was like puffing cigar smoke at Meredith in the locker room. Like,
He
leave
handed
her.
he handed Stanton the trophy and said, "Here, take the baby." And
Yeah.
that was hilarious to me.
And Stanton looks so cute holding the baby. Oh yeah, I gotta hold the baby. Yet Lou, don't like put like water on our like flames here. Yes, he always does. Nothing new. All right, but he did again, and we're celebrating. Okay?
And not for nothing, Lou. I have fought people all season long on Glaber Torres. I'm going to celebrate. Okay, I have been the leader of the Glaber Torres fan club this season. I am going to get in every last word possible because your girl was right. That's all I'm saying.
Yep. And Vote did the Yankees a big favor pitching to Stanton. Yep. Um, yeah. So thanks, Vote. Thanks for your contribution. Um, and Lori's saying, So I know we're jumping ahead because we're already talking about after the season, and we still have so much to go on. But I started it.
I think we will. I think we will because Glaber. They're just going to give him the QL, which is $23 million, right? They can pay him and pay Juan Soto. The Yankees will find the money. I'm not worried about it. Like we have a listen, you guys are always talking about the young guys. We have a first baseman in the minor leagues. Ben Rice, if he does what he needs to do in the offseason and spring training, he can be our first baseman next year. Jazz Chisholm, not for nothing, has been a great third baseman. Offensively, he needs to figure it out in the postseason, but he's been great at third. And then you always have Waldo and Birdie as your backup utility guys. So I think Glaber will be back, but that's a conversation for another day. But Soto, he's listen, Soto and his agent, I hate that man so much. They are going to be rolling into off-season negotiations with a blank check. Like, did you see Hal Steinbrenner last night? He was basically calculating how much he has to pay Soto on live air. Like he knows it's going to cost him. We're going to go into debt over this, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, he looked nauseous during that interview. And so unexcited, like so unexcited and low key about it all. And that's exactly why he's thinking, all right, who do I call? Loan Depot? They're a major sponsor. Um, but
Maybe he can call Steve Cohen and just borrow some money from him real quick.
maybe, maybe. Little glad to hear it. I knew you are. I knew you are. Um, and so Pinstripe Chronicles podcast. So where is Willa Red? Um, um, I must be missing a secret joke here.
That must be on the
Sorry,
guys. That must be on the guys side of
must
things.
be on the guys thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, all right. So, Ben Rice is not the answer. That is for sure. And that's what Lori just said. And Raziel says was in that alone spinning the block preaching. Yep, yep, she was. But there's plenty of converts in town now. So, but they're like Easter Christmas Catholics. But he better have that come to Jesus moment all year round.
I
Um,
am a creaster when it comes to being Catholic. So
yeah, 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 and I'm even beyond worse than that. And Karen, yeah, you're right. And the sneak preview to the hot takes, because yeah, just the preview is what the hell were they thinking not using him more? So okay, so now they're into the figures. How much are you giving Glaber to stay?
I'm giving Glaber 40 million for 2 years. And then after that, let him earn whatever he can. You guys got to remember, he's under 30. He's only 27 years old. Like we talk about how young Soto is, Glaber is right there with him. They're like the same age. And not for nothing, like Glaber is huge in that clubhouse. And I know we don't want to talk about clubhouse chemistry, but it is important. And he is one of those
It
guys
is.
in that clubhouse that make a difference. And you see how much Judge loves Glaber Torres. Like
Yes,
that is his baby.
it
So
is.
I don't know, guys. I think Glaber's staying.
Yeah, and Michael, you're right. It's like blank check time. I think everyone's on board with that. Lori, you're right. That's what I was thinking about Hal. Why won't my mouse do the thing? Here we go. Oh, technology. He is, and he was also so like country club. Oh well, yes, indubitably. Uh,
Hal never wanted to run this team. Like you can just tell he never wanted this. It's just something he has to do at this point. And that's why Cashman's not going anywhere either. He's been here for 40 years. He's going to be here forever too. Like and if the Yankees win the World Series, guys, buckle up. You're stuck with Aaron Boone. He's not going anywhere
oh
because
no, oh no.
you're just stuck. Like I don't see them getting rid of him after winning a World Series.
Why not try and make a deal to
Mm.
get Max Muncy?
I mean, he's doing good. He's been great, but I don't want him.
Yeah. Um, no, my first priority is let's pay the ones we know we gotta keep.
Mhm.
And then if we have anything left in the purse, then we'll talk. But yeah, I mean, Waldo's double play on Quan was huge and pivotal. And so the moment you see him, you wonder why. Like, especially, look, Rizzo is Rizzo, and this is no shade on Rizzo, but he is injured,
Mhm.
and nobody can match Rizzo at first base. We
Mhm.
know this, but Waldo also brings the bat. That Rizzo's been producing dribbles, but Waldo has been clutch. And so yeah, so everyone seems to think that we're all good with Glaber and Soto. The question's going to be, are they going to give Soto enough for the reasons we just said?
I
And
don't. So here's the other thing, though. Soto, if you saw Soto's parents last night, Soto doesn't want to leave New York, right? And I know you can read between the lines, and it could be Queens or the Bronx. And I know it's gonna sound weird coming from me because I'm not Dominican, but the Bronx has a huge Dominican population, and that means something to the Soto family.
mhm,
And the way that they come out and support him at Yankee Stadium, that makes a difference to him. When you have people of the same background as you in the stands every day cheering for you, uh, chanting "Resign Soto" and just showing up for you, the Dominican flags are flying. That means something, and I think that that's going to make a difference when it comes to signing Soto. So while he does want a lot of money, at the end of the day, I think he's going to be a Yankee for life. I don't like. I think so. Like Cohen can offer him more, and for whatever reason, Phillies fans think that they're getting him now. So they can offer him more too. But at the end of the day, he wants to be in the Bronx. And you can just tell by looking at his family and the way that they react to being with the Yankees organization.
yep, absolutely. And so I think we're at a point where, hey, Jacob, thanks for joining. Saw you come in. Yeah, we sure have been waiting a long time. Anyone born is a soph in 2009 is, a sophomore in high school by now. We've reached puberty since the long since the last time we won a World Series or even got to the World Series. Oops. So that was a pre. I didn't do Spencer. Spencer, if you're listening, sorry we didn't do it at the top. The excitement got away from us, but I'm saving it for the best for last. So let's just talk a little bit more specifically about our hot dogs. Although probably pretty obvious by now. But let's talk about why. Um, so I'm going to, because it's been a while. Let's talk about Doogie, who's waking up. Um, and boy, he was, I seem to be saying the word pivotal a lot. He was his like, so drive at the end of game 4 was what led to the win. So I mean, and that's just an example. I think, he's been at least producing, and I think that he's not swinging so much at the first pitch and trying to read a little bit better. I have a little bit of hope about Doogie. And since it's been a while, I mean, he had to get out of the doghouse. He was getting really claustrophobic in there. And I felt like this was the time to give him a little light of day. And then we have to talk about Canely because, and Ciarra, you and I both have Canely down. What do you want to say about Canely?
Stone cold Tommy Canely. I love him. Like in the regular season, I was really hard on Canely because there was just times where I was like, what the hell is he doing? But he's proven that if he's in for a full inning, he is the guy that you want on the mound as a reliever. He just looks so locked in right now. And I would trust him with the game on the line, guns in my head. I would trust Tommy Canely at this point. I hope he carries it into the World Series because we really do need it. But he looks fantastic. And not for nothing, like the bullpen itself looked really good until like the last 2 games of the ALCS because they're gassed at this point. Uh, but yeah, Tommy Canely, he deserves his props.
Yep, 100%. And as does Karen saying a hot dog is Weaver.
Mhm.
Yep, and Soto, Torres, Stanton, Verdugo, and Rodon. Yeah, I'm glad that we don't have a house for the hot dogs because it would be a 2-level townhouse at this point already. So let's talk about Volpe. Ciarra, you got some numbers to talk about Volpe.
Listen, Volpe, he's another one that I was really hard on in the second half of the season because I didn't know what he was doing. And in the field in the ALDS, he looked a little lost, but he's figured it out. Volpe has reached base in every single postseason game this season. So 9 games, right? Like that's huge. He's batting 310. He has 9 hits, 1 RBI, and he has scored 6 runs. Like that's exactly what we need on Anthony Volpe. We don't need him to hit home runs. We don't need him to go crazy. We just need him to get on base and help produce, and that's what he's doing. Like if the bottom half of the lineup can all do what Volpe's doing, we are locked in, and there's no beating us. The only team that is beating the New York Yankees is the New York Yankees.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
and also, sorry, shout out to Volpe for being a Gold Glove candidate again. Like
Yeah.
I know, like I didn't think he was gonna do it, especially without Rizzo over at first, but he did, and you know what? Good for him. He's proving everyone wrong, and I love to see that for him. The kid from New Jersey is proving that he is meant to be here, and you know what? He's not Derek Jeter. He is Anthony Volpe, and that's all we need him to be.
Yep, and for yeah, and having his back come alive at the bottom of the order is every bit as important um as Glaber, starting things off at the top. So it's so great to see him being more consistent again and fielding much more sharp than it has been. Yeah, Lori. Lori's all kinds of converting on Stanton now. I think like Lori's going to get a 27 jersey at any moment. And I love seeing that. Um, and so, we also we're talking about the obvious, but Soto, um, Soto,
Listen, I've
uh,
gone back and forth all season on if I wanted Soto to come back. One swing of the bat yesterday, and I'm like, he's a Yankee for life. I don't even care at this point. I said, earlier in the season, I wouldn't mind if he walked because we have other holes that we need to fill. But now I can't imagine this lineup without him. Like I can't imagine this lineup not being Glaber, Soto, Judge, Stanton. Like I can't. Like those are the big 4 to me. He's batting 333 in the postseason, 3 home runs. Last night was super clutch, obviously. He has 8 RBI, 11 hits, and he scored 6 runs. And he's also a Gold Glove finalist. And I know people are mad about this, but the right field category isn't that great this season. So good for you, Soto. You do you, and use that to your advantage because we know that your Scott Boras is going to use that in negotiations.
Yeah. I mean, that's money in the bank for you, and let's face it, he's not Aaron Judge in right
Mm-mm.
field. But he's made some pretty spectacular key important plays out there. And so yeah, I mean, it's just Boris is just there with his calculator, every time something comes up like that. So and Spencer, I see you. I'm sure you were the very first person to place that order for that cap, Mr. Ball Cap of the world. So everybody wants that World Cup. We get it. I think let's also we hat tipped to the bullpen, but I'm going to be the first to say, although not a hot dog, Al Leiter did do solid for us.
Mark.
On uh, oh, Mark, did I say Al?
Yeah.
It's because I'm aging myself. Um, Leiter Jr. Let me just stick with Leiter Jr. um, showed up the other night. So, and so, maybe it's sort of like how others needed to adjust coming over, and I'm not hating on him the way he would. So it's like a mini wiener hot dog I'm giving him. But you wanted to talk about Tim Hill, and I'm on board for that for hot dog.
Yeah, Tim Hill. So let me just say, one of my favorite moments from last night's game is when Tim Hill was ready to square up with the home plate ump, because Tim Hill looks like your uncle who does your plumbing like in his spare time. He doesn't look like someone who can fight. So when he got that, when it was supposed to be a strike and they called it a ball, and he literally started stepping towards the home plate ump, and Boone like had to come out and like check him a little bit. Favorite part of the game. I was just so proud of him for having that in him. But anyway, he his ERA through 7 appearances 1.59, and he only has 2 strikeouts. But a 1.59 ERA is huge. Like, everyone talked about Cleveland's bullpen going into the ALCS, and they had the best bullpen in the American League this season, and Emmanuel Clase and blah blah blah. Tim Hill, he was pitching masterpieces. He can ride with us to the World Series. He can stay on the roster. I like Tim Hill.
Yeah. And really, what was our favorite moment about Hill yesterday that we talked about before we jumped on? With the way he wanted to throw down with the home plate
Yeah,
umpire.
that was my favorite part, hands down. Like, I didn't know he was a gangster like that. Like, shout out to Tim Hill.
If Boone has to wag a finger at you and say, "Oh, hold it back," and it was nice to see that that fire. I would not have expected that from Tim Hill. Not that we've seen so much of him, but yeah, he's in a lefty specialist for sure, FJ. Um, and yeah, I mean, he was a good match against the guards for sure. And Class A just did not bring it at all. So, I know people are saying a lot of things about Rocchio better go into, federal, witness protection program. I think Class A is right behind.
Especially after flashing his rings, his non-World Series rings on Instagram. Like, you look stupid now.
I
Just
mean,
saying.
beyond, uh, beyond. And you know what? I'm kind of really enjoying that a lot. Evan Spitzberg, good to see you. Thanks for dropping in with us. Yeah, the bullpen held it down, but we really have to figure out our starters, and get them to be lasting longer. It was not okay. That Cole didn't go his length. Rodon didn't go his length. That's our 1 and 2. If we want to talk about, cooked, that pen was rapidly approaching cooked status. And it's great that we have that depth, but to use all of it, just about every game this series,
They
we did what
gassed.
we had to do, but we can't do that in the World Series.
No, they were gassed yesterday. Like, and credit to Boone because he's managed this bullpen very well and he's put the right guys in. Even when we thought that they weren't, he knew what he was doing and it worked out. But they were gassed. You need your ace to go 6, 7 innings. You need Rodon to go 6, 7 innings. Clark Schmidt, I just need him to go 5. Like, I'm not expecting him to go 6, 7. This was his first year as a starter. He went down with an injury. It's a little bit different for him. Luis Heel, he needs to get his control under control because right away when he was pitching, it wasn't there. The location wasn't there, and
Nope.
that's scary.
Right. And you could give a little bit of leeway for Heel with it being his first postseason, and Schmidt for him, postseason at least as a starter. But Cole has a ring. Like postseason Cole needs to show up. Um, and that's a little bit of a concern. But and he's our game one guy. And
Yeah.
and and Rodon, I don't think has a ring, but I believe he's seen the postseason. Not entirely sure on that, but point is, they're definitely more experienced than Heel was, and we had to use Heel because, we're really just short. And
I don't
so, go
I
ahead.
don't know. I think I would have trusted Stroman more in that game
Yes.
just
Yeah.
because right out the gate, like I said, Heel didn't have the location, and that's scary to expect someone to go 5 or 6 innings pitching like that. Because when Heel is good, he is lights out. But when he doesn't have his location, he showed us already that he is going to be a wild card. And at that point, I would have went with the veteran Stroman. I'm sorry. I know
Yeah.
people don't want to see him, but I think he would have been the better pitcher that day.
I missed Spencer's question about Hill that he's exceeding expectations, 100% Spencer, and Maz is saying I wish Stroman came out of the bullpen.
Mhm.
It's one of my. It's not even a hot take, but spoiler alert, it's one of mine. Like, why are you not putting him in for the middle innings? He's built for that. Like, get Rodon out. Why didn't you do that first? Stroman is good for at least a few innings before any, potential damage would be done.
Why
Um,
is Stroman the only starting pitcher being punished for his inconsistency when Rodon and Cole, I don't care how much you pay them, they haven't shown up for us. Rodon, yes, okay, I'll give him credit because he only gave up 2 runs yesterday. But when your pitch count is high and you can't go more than 4.2 innings, that doesn't help us. It doesn't, because at any moment, like the Guardians were a scary enough lineup, right? You have the Naylor brothers who were just annoying. You have Stephen Kwan. You have Ramirez, who if he gets going, he's not going to stop. And then you have those random guys who I swear to God, Cleveland just made up. David Fry. Who the hell is David Fry? Where did he come from? Big Christmas. At any moment, that bullpen and being gassed could have lost the game for us yesterday.
yep.
Um, and going against, the Mets or the Dodgers, their starting pitchers are just like ours right now. They're struggling. So it'll be bullpen versus bullpen. But they have way bigger names in their lineup than the Guardians do. And then the Mets, they have freaking Pete Alonso is on this tear right now. And Francisco Lindor is also like somebody that you can't stop. So we need our starters to do their job, or it's going to cost us some big games in the World Series.
Yes. And Spencer, you're right. We needed a lot more length from Heel. We needed a lot more length from every single starter. And that's a concern that I hope gets worked out in the next 5 days. Oh, and look, D-Rod is here. D-Rod's here with his jokes. So let's see. Um, Good morning, ladies. Oh, and hello to you, Lynn and Ciarra. I've been called worse. It's okay. Good to see you, T-Rod. Um, well then, I'm handing Glaber over to you, even though
Oh,
he was my hot dog too. Go ahead. All yours.
I'm
All yours.
so I'm so proud of Gleyber Torres. Um, just seeing him, like I said, with his little cigar in his mouth yesterday, just smiling from ear to ear, hanging out with his besties, and like I've never been more proud of a baseball player. Gleyber Torres, even though he's only getting singles or he's not hitting home runs, he is setting Soto and Judge up for those big moments. 6 games in a row, he led the game off on base. 8 out of 9 games, he led the game off on base. That is huge. And it's not just hits either. Like my boy is taking walks. He has a good eye. But Gleyber Torres, he has permission to first pitch swing because when he does, he connects and he gets on base. Like I don't know what it is. I don't know if he gets new contacts in October, but he just shows up and does what he has to do. Um, He is, 297 batting average with 11 hits, 1 home run, 5 RBI, 9 runs scored in 9 games. And not for nothing, guys, his defense, it's been great. Knock on wood, but it's been great.
Yes.
He is locked in, and I'm so proud of him, and I can't wait to see what he does in the World Series.
No, I can't, and I think that he's really rising to the occasion, and he's gonna shine. He's gonna be I think that there is no concern whatsoever about Glaber on my end, other than something that has nothing to do with Glaber, but involved, Glaber in terms of his, base running IQ, Rojas, that we'll talk about in a minute. Hey, Joe, good to see you. Okay, yeah, that's the thing we've been going back and forth about, Joe. 100% right there. Um, oh, okay. So Spencer's correcting me. I guess, he was in the World Series, but it was when the Astros lost.
When Soto was World Series MVP at, like, 12 years old.
Okay. Right. And Soto does have the ring with the Nationals. So this would be his second ring. And last but not least, Anthony Rizzo. What are we going to do with Anthony Rizzo? Although we have him for hot dog and he deserves to be there, but go ahead and give the stats that you had
Yeah.
for.
So I felt like I had to throw Rizzo in there because I know a lot of Yankees fans hit the panic button when he was in the first game of the ALCS, and he got on base his very first at bat. Like, he's clearly still hurt, right? The end of game 1, Boone said he was taxed emotionally and physically. He's still wearing the brace when he's not in the game, so he's clearly, he's still injured. But for Rizzo to bat 429 and have 6 hits after missing the ALDS, he deserves his flowers too. And honestly, that weird play at first base, I don't even blame him. It was a weird toss. It was a weird moment.
Yeah.
Things happen. It can't happen in the World Series, but Rizzo's never makes mistakes like that, so I'm not even gonna kill the guy over it. Overall, I think everyone for the most part contributed in their own way, whether it was defensively or offensively. We got to see a glimpse of Jason Dominguez. Did you guys see him? He was at second base yesterday. It happened
Yep.
very quick. So if you
He
blinked, you
did.
probably missed it.
Yeah,
But
he pitched one. Yeah.
I just wanted to throw it out there just in case anyone missed
Yeah, he
it.
pitched ran. I caught him.
He was like, I am your Duke Ellis for this series, for this game.
That's fine. That's fine. And so let's talk about whoopsie.
I will. I will say it. I will get it off my chest.
Let me just do this. Oh my goodness. Oh Lord, help me today. There we go. There we go. All right. Let's get those hot takes going, everybody. So here's mine. Release Cabrera from captivity. I don't understand. Like these little cameo appearances are not it. Um why not platoon him more or sooner for Rizzo? And let's also talk about um Chisholm, who, yeah, and I've been a Jazz fan all along, and I continue to be, but he is not producing at the plate. We need all around players right now, and Chisholm has not been it. So why aren't we doing that for Cabrera and bringing Cabrera in and sitting Chisholm more? I don't understand the Chisholm experiment anymore in that regard. So um I just that's my hot take on Cabrera. I think that he deserves it. He's earned it. He'll be a benefit, and I just don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, I really love Jazz, and I just want to see him step up. So it's painful for me to see him struggle like this. It's really really ugly. Um, he is batting 147 right now. He does have 5 hits, but 147 is really really bad. So I don't know if Birdie or Cabrera could do better. I think Chisholm will start the World Series regardless, like game 1, and then we'll see what happens from there. Um, but he just needs one really good hit that to wake him up.
Yeah. And the thing is, he's really pressing for a big hit. And I'm with you, Joe. Like, throw down, he has a good bunt going on. throw down a bunt. He had some opportunities for that, and maybe
I
that'll just light his fire.
I wonder if this moment is just it's too big for him. You know, he went from poverty, Miami, right, to the Bronx. Like it's a totally different world here. Miami never made the playoffs. So he's not used to it. And you know, we have the guys who really shine in the postseason, you know, Glaber, Soto, Stanton. Um, but then there's guys who just don't. And he might just be one of them.
Yeah, but we need him to. We need everybody that
100%.
shines. And Gregory, that was part of my point. We know that he could do he bunts really well. Why not try that more than the 83,000, outs at the plate you got for yourself? You have the speed for it as well. You drop it well, and then you could run to first so fast. So, and Maz is saying hot take that he'll get moved to the bottom of the order. My hot take is, does he even belong in the order? Maybe he should be platooned as needed. That's how concerned I am about him at the plate.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because Chisholm and Wells are both struggling at the plate right now, and we really can't platoon Wells because Trevino showed us why. Um, but Wells is also struggling. You know, he's only batting .91,
Yeah.
but we need his defense so badly behind the plate, and he's a better base runner. There's some decisions that have to be made going into the World Series, and Boone is going to have to keep this hat on that he has on right now, where he's really learned how to manage these games and keep it moving. Because if we go against the Mets, Carlos Mendoza, he's a great manager. Like that scares me. I'm not worried about the Dodgers manager, David. I'm drawing a blank, but he's scared of Manny Machado, so I'm not worried about him. But I think Mendoza would have the ability to outmanage Boone. So I need Boone to just keep doing what he's doing and not mess with the lineup too much because all season long we wanted consistency and we finally have it, and I'm afraid if we mess with it too much it'll hurt us. But we do need oh my god, I can't even say his name, Chisholm and
Jism.
Wells.
That's okay.
Chisholm
You
and
can now
Wells
his nickname's Jism. Go ahead.
yeah. Okay, yeah, Chisholm. We need him and Wells to step it up along with our captain.
And so, yeah, Wells is Homer happy, Joe saying, and that's my point. Like at this point, when you're slumping the way you're slumping, just produce something, and get the feel for that. But we don't have time for figuring it out stuff. It's making me antsy and impatient. I think we talked about Stroman, both of us already. Hot take being, where is he, for crying out loud? Use him. Um, Give me your next hot take. Give us.
So this one's not really a hot take, but the Yankees, like I said it earlier in the show, the only team that can beat the New York Yankees at this point is the New York Yankees, right? One of the things that we will beat ourselves with is our base running. We have to be situationally aware of what is happening. And Luis Rojas, he needs to know who's on the bases and when. Because the Gleyber Torres has been fantastic, but my boy is not fast. He knows he's not fast. We all know he's not fast. You're asking him to go from first to home on a double. He's not Anthony Volpe. He's not Jazz. He's not Birdie. He's Gleyber Torres. Let him stop at third, and then you're set up second and third with no outs, and you have 3 opportunities now to get him in. Like Luis Rojas should be fired after the season. He should be sent to Alcatraz because he's been trash all season. And you know what? Gleyber has taken a lot of slander for the sends that Luis Rojas has caused. It's time that everyone sees it. Rojas is a terrible third base coach.
Absolutely. And in the process, poor Glaber is so confused. Run, don't want run. Why the hell did you run? Who flagged you on? And it's really been Rojas all along. Why did he give Glaber the go ahead to go to home yesterday? I just
I mean, I get the aggressiveness, but you have to know who you're sending. Like Gleyber Torres is not the guy to do it with. He's not. Like we all know this, so why doesn't Luis Rojas know this? He's tied for most outs at home plate. He's not fast. He's good at getting on base. He's good at being a leadoff hitter. Like he's not fast. It is what it is, Luis. You gotta know who your guys are.
Yep. Um Oh, yeah, Joe, I would love this. Willie Randolph for third base coach.
Isn't he
Yeah,
dead?
sign me up for that. What?
Isn't he dead?
Willie Randolph? No. Uh-uh.
Okay. I don't know if he was.
Yeah, before your time, and yeah, yeah,
I,
no,
I
no.
know I know who he is. I know he's before my time. I thought he
No,
died.
take that back. No, very much alive.
Sorry, Willie.
Oh my God, Willie, Willie, close your ears. Universe, erase that. Um, okay, and
That send is on Rojas, D-Rod. I don't care what you say. That send is on Rojas. You can't send someone who you know is slow. Like, is his base running terrible? Sure. But he's slow as hell. And you have to know that. You can't just send him. Like, that
no,
is not the person to send. We would have been second and third with 0 outs in the first inning. And then you have Judge coming up. You have Stanton coming up. Like, it was a bad send. And I will say that with my dying breath.
that's right. And I'm doubling down on that because you know what? He was out by inches, but he was still out. Volpe and Chisholm probably would have just made it by an inch themselves, and they're fast. So it was that close, and that throw was spectacular,
Mhm.
so spot on, and so it was anybody's to lose. And so why are you sending one of the slowest guys?
But
So
the rest of the base running, that's absolutely on every single person who got caught in a pickle and didn't know what they were doing. The only person that figured out how to not get picked off was Anthony Volpe when he trucked Ramirez, which honestly, Anthony Volpe is like he got into one little argument with somebody at second base, and now he's like this big bad 100-pound 12-year-old. I love it. Like you
I
keep doing you,
know.
Volpe.
I'm here for that. And then of course, Ciara, you want Poteet back up, which leads us to the next thing I wanted to bring up. But so go ahead.
I just don't know why he's not here. Like, okay, so Mark Leiter Jr., yeah, it worked out. Whatever. Congratulations. But Poteet has much better numbers. And he proved when he came up when Schmidt was hurt, he never had a bad inning. And then he had this weird freaky tricep injury and they like put him in witness protection program and that's where he's staying. Where is he? Like we could use him in the bullpen and I don't understand why we're not. Like he would have been perfect to piggyback off the heel the other night. And I hope you know what? I'm sorry, Mesa. You haven't really done anything for me in the playoffs. You're the one guy that I think could take a hike and we can bring Poteet in instead of you. Like that's just how I feel at this point.
Yep, absolutely. Remind me because I didn't have any sleep. Did we do down dogs yet?
No, we didn't do dog. Do you mean down dogs or doghouse?
Doghouse rather.
Yeah, no, we didn't do doghouse. We like touched on who should be in it, but we didn't actually do the category.
Oh God. Okay, so you know, for me it's Chisholm. I already kind of talked about it. And I just don't understand. Um, I don't understand why they're not doing to him what they're doing with others, and just bench him. You have Birdie that you could put at third. Rizzo and Cabrera are fine. So I really don't understand why they're not giving him the Glaber treatment, even though it's the postseason. And I'm saying this as a Chisholm fan. I don't. This
Mhm.
isn't slander. This is like, but come on, this is serious business. Every game is serious business. But this is the World Series we're heading into. We got to figure that out. Um, why he didn't slide into second base in the eighth inning the other day. What that's beyond me too. Last night rather, it was beyond me too. Like um, and some guy was trying to explain to me that it takes longer to slide than it does to run to the base. Um, and I was really taken aback by that. I'm like, how's that possible? He was so close that if he had slid, he would have had a better chance. So at least it would have been like challengeable. So yeah, he's in the doghouse. He's my biggest
Yeah.
one.
I agree with you on Jazz. I think he has the case of the Glaber Torres right now, where he's just in his own head and he's got to figure it out. And he has 6 days to do it. We have 6 days until we face either the Mets at Yankee Stadium or the Dodgers in LA. Because If we face the Mets, we're home field advantage. If we face the Dodgers, unfortunately, they are. But my biggest down dog or doghouse, and listen, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna preference this by saying I love Aaron Judge. He is the American League MVP, or he will be. He should be a Gold Glove candidate, in my opinion. He got us to the postseason on this amazing, amazing, amazing season he's had, like video game numbers. But how does someone put up video game numbers every single night, and then as soon as the calendar flips to October 1st, he forgets how to swing the bat? He had some okay moments. He finally had a big hit. Unfortunately, it was a wasted hit. That's the game we lost. But I'll give him the credit because we needed that from him. But his 161 batting average, I said it earlier, it's not going to cut it. And you're wasting these these freaking beautiful at bats by Glaber to get on to start the game. And then Soto's getting on right behind him because those two back to back have just been phenomenal. You're wasting it because he has the most ground outs in all of Major League Baseball. You're killing me.
Right.
Like, you are the most powerful player in MLB right now. You gotta figure it out, and we need our captain to show up in the World Series, or I don't know if we can win without him. With Chisholm and Wells slumping, I don't know if we can do it without Judge helping Glaber, Soto, and Stanton. We can't rely on 3 people. So
Yep.
that's my doghouse.
Yep. And Joe's saying that curve low in a way is getting Judge out a lot. Well, I'm hoping that he spends a lot of time with his iPad and figures this stuff out. And
Forget
so go ahead.
Yeah, watch the iPad, but like get in the batting cage with Stanton. Stanton has been in the batting cage before everyone through every postseason game, right? He clearly something is working for Stanton. Spend time with him. They said it on the broadcast last night, and I was happy to finally hear some positivity about Stanton because they're always talking about how slow he is. They're always talking about how old he is, how broken he is. They finally were talking about how Stanton is the unwritten co-captain of the New York Yankees, that the guys will turn to him when they are struggling, and they should. And Judge should turn to Stanton. Turn to him and
Yeah.
use him. This is, he's been in the league for 14 seasons. Judge himself tweeted in 2013 that Stanton was his favorite player in the league. So turn to
Yeah.
him and get some help.
Yep. 100%. And I agree, Lou, that Stanton coming up to third would be a good move. And
Ah, sorry.
you don't think so? You don't think you should mess with the order a little bit because that'll be in Judge's head?
I think Stanton should be fifth at all times. Only because I don't think we should have the top of the order so top heavy when the bottom is struggling right now. And also because I don't want it to mess up Stanton. He's so locked in right now. Leave him in the 5 hole because then that forces a pitcher to make a decision too. Am I going to face the cleanup hitter, or am I going to face this big scary guy who is like killing everybody in the postseason?
Yeah. Um, but I think we could all agree that Chisholm should never be a cleanup again.
No, no.
I, I, I mean, maybe Boone was drunk or made a mistake. But anyway,
I think Rizzo did good at cleanup, right? Like he got on base, he did his thing, and so if Rizzo's playing that day, it should be Glaber, Soto, Judge, Rizzo, Stanton, and then the rest I don't even care. But those 5 is how it
right?
should, in my opinion.
Yeah. And Karen's saying with Joe Girardi, think it's more of a mental bugaboo because everyone talks about how he doesn't show up in the postseason and he's overthinking that when he gets to the plate. Um,
With Judge,
yeah,
I think that's 100% what it is. Part of me
yeah,
wonders if because Soto, this is our first season with him, right? In the past, it's been Glaber and Stanton who show up in the postseason. Is Judge putting too much pressure on himself because he carries the team through the regular season and he knows all eyes are on him now? He's got to lock in though.
he does, and nobody knows it better than him. I'm sure of that.
Mhm.
And maybe he's a little preoccupied because he's going to be an actual real daddy.
So
But
cute.
I know maybe he's having some sympathy symptoms and is a little tired because he's expecting a baby. But yeah, and I believe he's gonna figure it out. He is not nowhere near done. And in big moments, he has always shined. So I really think I obviously believe in him, but for now, yeah, just was not a contributor
Mhm.
to this at all, other than what he does all day every day in the clubhouse and in the dugout.
Yeah, and honestly, the pitchers, they're not pitching well to him. He should take a walk or 2, like, it's okay to take a walk. Soto's done it
Right,
all season long, like, he's a
right,
generational walker. You can take a walk and let Stanton or Rizzo drive you in. It's okay.
right, right. 100%. And my last down dog is Trevino. Because the guards like had they had a base stealing fest on him behind the plate because they know he doesn't have the pop. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, we got a home run out of him. That was cool. But Wells really has to be the catcher. And sorry Wells, you're going to be really really tired and overused, but we just can't take the chance on Trevino.
Yeah, no, I agree. I was happy to see some, production out of Trevino because I feel like it's been 100 years since I've seen the guy. But, he had a base running blunder and then he couldn't throw anybody out. Like that's where he kills us. And that's where the Wells thing hurts even more because he's not producing, but we really need your defense. So I guess at the end of the day, if everyone else can produce and Wells is that one soft spot in the lineup, it's not gonna kill us. But I would like to see all 9 guys contribute because we are in the World Series. This is the biggest stage, and all eyes are on us, and everyone is waiting for us to fail. So we gotta get together and we gotta click.
Yeah, and you know what? They're going to spend a good part of the next days doing just that, coming back together, doing their little bonding,
Mhm.
exercises and whatever's. As much as they're going to do as much of that, not as much, but a good share of their time is going to be that, when they're not out doing working at the things. And so, yeah, that's a good one to look up, Joe. So, yeah, um, okay. Yeah, his point being that Yogi wasn't so stellar in the World Series. He was 19 for 101, 188. Then he turned it around. And we all know how Yogi's career flew and who Yogi is in the Yankees legend books. And
I
so
like that,
Donald
I
has,
do.
huh?
I said I like that, I do. It's very, like, the positivity. The only thing that bothers me about Aaron Judge, though, at this point is he has produced for us in the past in the postseason. It's just 2022 and 2024, he hasn't, and we're Yankees fans, so what has he done for me lately? And in the past
Yep,
9 games, it's been a whole lot of nothing.
yep, yep. I can't disagree with that whatsoever. And Donald join us. Hey, Donald. Yes, we sure did do it. Yes, we did. Yeah, they did it. Okay. Notice I said we.
We no,
Uh,
we did it. We watched
I know.
162 plus games. We
It,
did it.
it was our energy, our prayers, our cursing. That had to have been a contribution. Yankee greats. Thanks for being here. Yeah, they're ready. They'd be ready tomorrow if they had to be. And yeah, they're just gonna show up. I don't have any doubts about that. Lori, yeah, you know what? Um, Aaron Boone deserves to be and will be, just automatically the coaching the All-Star game next year. And you know what? Um we have to just say it. I feel the need to say it cuz I'm as anti Boone as it's come. Not anti like the good one that gives you like good presents on your birthday. The other anti. But you know what? He's managed the hell out of this team all
Mhm.
the way through the postseason. And so whatever vitamins are in his regimen now need to, he's and his his speech, his post game interviews, um it was so great not to hear him have to stammer and stutter. You got to see Boone speak articulately and with feeling and emotion, and I love that. So I'm in a feel good moment.
He was right all along. He
Yeah,
said all season, "It's right in front of us." And guess what? It literally is. We're going to the World Series in 6 days. He was right this whole time. as silly as he sounded, he was correct.
Yep, he was. I mean, and I'm kind of sad that I don't get to use that phrase so much anymore against him, but I probably still will. Who am I kidding? So before we go, let's do some roster predictions. Are there going to be any changes to the roster? What do you all think?
So I don't know if it'll actually happen. This is me manifesting it more than anything. But Tim Mesa can hit the road
Hit the
and
road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. Yes,
and bring me Poteet.
yes,
That's all I'm asking. I just want to see Cody Poteet on this roster. That's all I'm asking from you. Make
right.
it happen.
It's not a lot. It's not a lot to ask for. Um,
Oh
and
shoot,
make
I forgot about Nestor Cortez. Sorry, Nestor. Never mind. Cody's not coming.
no, Cody's not coming. Yeah, Nestor's going to be back. And it's going to be interesting what they do with Nestor. I mean, I'm assuming he'll start in the pen. Um, and I would understand that. But if they're not using Stroman, they better start using Stroman and Nestor while they have them. Um,
Honestly, I would throw heel in the pen and start Nestor. I just trust Nestor
yes.
a little more at this point. And
Yes.
he looked really good at the end of the season. Oh my god, these injuries have freaking killed us. But yes, I forgot. Sorry, Nestor Cortez. Please forgive me. I forgot that you existed for a moment there. He'll be
That's
back on
okay.
the
You thought
roster.
Willie Randolph was dead. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my god, if he dies this week, that you guys are gonna blame me.
Um, so yeah, I'm not seeing any other changes to the rosters coming from the chat. So I guess everyone is content with the roster as it is. With
Don't fix what isn't broken.
exactly, exactly. Keep that momentum with what you have, and welcome back to Nestor. And we know who we have to kick to the curb and why. And it's not going to have any impact on the machine that's in motion right now. So so that's the deal there. And so really, as we wrap up, I am going to um, Elliot Spencer. I saved the best for last. Your trivia question of the week. So here it is. This will be the Yankees' first World Series since the passing of George Steinbrenner in 2010. Steinbrenner, as we know, was not really as involved in 2009 when we won, but he was still the owner. And Spencer says, who was the last owner before Steinbrenner bought the Yankees in 1973? So I'm going to give everyone. Oh, okay. And it's because I gave everyone a spoiler alert again. Like asleep at the wheel, new mouse. Yeah, I fully believe you guys would have gotten the answer anyway. But the answer is CBS. The CBS took over from the previous owners, and Steinbrenner said, "Oh, you're just a broadcasting system. Let me just open up my purse for you. You're just a major network." So yes. And Spencer, thank you for the question. And what are your last thoughts, Ciarra?
Yeah, so I cannot wait 2 weeks from now to be celebrating the World Series win with you guys. Game 7, if there's a game 7, is 2 weeks from now, I believe. So that would put us our show the next day would be our celebration. I cannot wait to be here celebrating because in my mind, we are World Series champions. Giancarlo Stanton has already manifested it. This is our year to win. We're gonna make Soto a Yankee for life. We're gonna re-sign Glaber, and you know what, Aaron Boone, congratulations on proving everyone wrong because you've done it. You did it. No one thought you could do it, and you did it. So I'm over the moon. I cannot wait. Like this is us. Chase for 28 is still on, and it's gonna happen.
Yep. As Lori says, just win, baby.
Yeah.
And yes, and in terms of predictions, I think Lori's right that it's gonna go long. I'm surprised that we were shorter with the Guardians than I had predicted, to be honest with you.
Hmm.
And so she's saying Yanks in 6, Gregory's saying best hope it only goes in 5. I think some of it really depends on keep the front four. Yep, absolutely, Yankee greats. I think a lot of it depends on who we face. I think if it's the Dodgers, we'll go longer than if it's the Mets. I could see the Mets in 5 and the Dodgers in 6.
I
Um,
don't. I think it's being Yankees in 7 either way.
oh,
I think both like the National League has some really good competition this season. And the Dodgers, they're the best team in baseball and they have been all season as much as I freaking hate them. They have the best record for a reason. But
yes.
the Mets, I think we're still discounting them too much. They have this Mets magic behind them. They have Pete Alonso's playoff pumpkin and Grimace, and they're just having fun at this point. So I think that's why they're doing so well is because they don't have the expectations on them that the Yankees and the Dodgers do. So I think either team, we're going to 7.
And it would serve us well to remember that they beat the crap out of us in the season,
They did
embarrassingly. So,
4-0.
yep. And that's new. So, absolutely not. They can't be discounted. I certainly don't discount them. I'm just a little bit more scared about the Dodgers. So,
And that's fair.
um, but you know what? We have the benefit of laying back, and also, I prefer the Mets because that means we open at home. But
Mhm.
if the Dodgers win, that's gonna suck, in terms of home field advantage. But they're gonna rest, and they're gonna use that rest. And I no longer have concerns about rest bad. The rest served them well for the series against the Guardians. So yeah. Um, Feeling nothing but good about the future. Feeling good that we'll have a show next Sunday that's going to be wild and hopefully in a great way. And really hope to see you back here. And thanks for joining us today. Don't be bored. There's always football, but it's going to be a long week without baseball.
You guys
Um,
can go root for the 49ers. We're playing the Chiefs today. Root for us, please.
who are they playing against?
The Chiefs.
Oh, okay. I think that's easy. Most people don't want the Chiefs to win ever. Okay. So thanks everybody for joining, and for those of you listening afterwards. And as always, you'll have a reserved seat with Ciarra and me every Sunday live at 11 right here on the upper deck. And don't forget to follow our Pinstripe Chronicle guys Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. They bring the juice and awesome show all the time. So let's just I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take my Garrett Cole bobblehead that I just got. He's holding his Cy Young. He's gonna be Cy Young on game 1, and go Yankees.